We're joined now by U of M political science professor Daniel Myers, caffeinated and ready to go. Thank you for joining us this early.
Thanks for having me on.
So, a lot to break down here. With President-elect Trump on track to win the popular vote, it seems here, among which demographics did it seem that he made the biggest gains compared to the last time around? I mean, there was a lot of talk about black men, Latino voters, suburban white women. Where are you seeing out there?
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait to get really conclusive evidence about any of that. I actually don't see right now, with what I'm looking at, any pronounced shifts among any of these groups that we've been talking about. Suburban, rural, black voters, Hispanic voters. Everybody seems to have shifted towards Trump, but there doesn't seem to be a huge shift among any group. And so a lot of these narratives that we were sort of spinning before the election, I'm not sure how much any of those are going to be supported. It may just be that Trump gained a little bit with voters across the board, and that's enough to put him over the top.
And Trump's not the only president to now serve two terms, non-consecutive terms. I think Grover Cleveland was way back then,
right?
The first president to do so. So how did Trump win back voters that he may have voted for him in 2016? They decided not to vote for him in 2020, but now they are back at Trump here in 2024.
Yeah, I think we have to think again about the factors that made Joe Biden a relatively unpopular president. And Trump was relatively unpopular in terms of favorability ratings when he was running for re-election in 2020. Obviously, the pandemic had something to do with that. But just sort of the general chaos of his administration. In Biden's case, I think you can say that continued voter discontent about inflation, unhappiness with how the immigration situation at the southern border was being handled among a lot of voters. And one event that I'd point to that seems a little distant now, but that was when we really saw a break in Biden's popularity, was the Afghanistan withdrawal and the perception that that was not handled well when the U.S. withdrew its troops from Afghanistan, that was chaotic. That's actually a point, if you look at Biden's approval rating over time, where you see a big break there. So I think all of those factors probably played a big role here. But of course, Biden isn't running. Why is Harris getting tagged with this? Well, Harris is probably the non-Biden candidate the Democrats could have gone with, who is most closely tied to Biden. And so to the extent you can think of a strategic error here, it may have been just going with Harris instead of opening it up to maybe a Gretchen Whitmer or a Josh Shapiro or some other Democratic candidate.
And the timetable was so brief, so they